Okay, I believe we're live. Hello. Hi, everyone, and welcome to my first YouTube Live. Wow, that's exciting, and let's see how that goes. Um, okay, so the reason why I wanted to go live today, well, there's several reasons. One of them is because I've never been live before, so I thought I will test this out and see how well I do, and if I don't do so well, then what I can learn from it. The second reason is because tomorrow, which we're already part of that energetic flow, it's the full moon in Capricorn, and looking from a wider perspective, we should notice things coming to fruition or to some sense of clarity since the beginning of the year, since we have the new moon, since we had the new moon in Capricorn. I believe it was around 30th or 31st of December 2024. And the third reason is because I was inspired um, to start a Wisdom Wednesday series. For those who would like to join me, it's going to be a part of my membership services, where I really want to dedicate a lot more time and personal attention to people that have specific questions about themselves, about their own lives, and not just share general wisdom, but also navigate it and narrow it down to how you can personally integrate it in your own life, and how those general universal higher consciousness concepts actually can tie into your own experience. So I have prepared a few notes with me today, just so I can stay a little bit on track, as it's much easier for me when I have communication and conversation, when I'm being asked questions, to respond to you. And this way, I don't make this live hours and hours long and bore the hell out of you. But considering the energy we're currently experiencing with Capricorn, which is all about structure and discipline, and one question that I recently was reflecting on that I get asked a lot is, what is my personal practice? And what is does my daily routine or structure look like? And as part of this video, I want to speak about this topic as the Wisdom Wednesday um, first episode, if I can call it that way. I mean, why not? And every time I get asked this question, what is my practice? And the more I reflect on the answer itself, I come to realize that there is no such thing as one specific practice. There is no such thing as one formula works for all. I know we would like it to be easy and we want something given, like here it is. This is the formula, the template you got to follow if you want to be successful and healthy and so on. But if there was such a thing that existed, and think about it, wouldn't we all be at this perfect, successful, healthy, happy place? So I come to realize that practice is something that evolves over time, something that also changes with time, it changes with the day, but it's still important for us to have a foundation or our own personal template to follow, because we are all different. And that's why it's very difficult and impossible to have one formula, one routine, one practice, one single diet that works for every single human being. And as part of my spiritual work, it always brings me back to the most important question we're really here to ask ourselves first: who am I? Because when we're not able to answer this question, it is very difficult to build a sustainable routine and practice that helps to support us to function and to stay sane. And I would say that I try to modify my practice depending on what is going on around me and within me so I can maintain a sense of clarity and peace within me and stay sane. Mm. And sometimes it is much easier for a lot of people to create a physical discipline or practice, meaning to wake up at a certain time, to take care of your bills, look at your diet, like physically what you have control over. But maintaining and cultivating a spiritual practice is a lot more challenging. And the, there are four reasons I would say a spiritual practice is important for all of us to have. One of the reasons, of course, as I said, is to stay sane. The second one would be to establish connections, like true connections. Uh, Another reason would be to be able to emotionally regulate, which would be difficult to learn how to emotionally regulate when we don't have that concept of self and understanding. And the fourth one, what was the fourth reason? I think I had it written down somewhere. Let me check. To create a sense of belonging. And for that, those are things that we can't physically establish. It's a state that we embody through the spiritual practice and discipline that we create. Oh my God, I'm in this forest right now and there's so many bugs biting me. So excuse me if I'm a little bit fidgety from time to time. um, so yeah, what was I speaking about? Practice and discipline, yes. So I wanted to dedicate this Wisdom Wednesdays and show you and share with you moments of my own personal practice, but also would really love for everybody that decides to join the membership and be a part of this group and community I want to create is to share with me your own personal questions. So this way, as I said, I can help you navigate to discover your own practice. And the first stepping stone is to really understand where you're at and also help you create that vision of who you are. As I said earlier, we find it very difficult to maintain a practice or a routine, or maybe I didn't say it, when we don't have a connection to our own perception of self. To give you an example, let's say I view myself, even if I don't voice it out loud, but in my own mind, when I look in the mirror, when I interact with people, I don't feel secure in my own body, in my own skin, and I look at myself and I think I'm fat and ugly. In the meantime, I'm trying to build a healthy lifestyle practice, changing my diet, working out, um, whatever it is. I'm going to start on that journey, but my motivation to stay on it and to keep on going is very quickly going to start to dissolve because my coming back to the image of myself and my vision and my sense of self is still attached to that perception of being fat and ugly. So here, when we speak about practice, it's really building first the self-discipline of who am I, who I identify as, how do I see myself, what role am I playing here in life, what is the path that I'm on. And then once we have this clarity, once we have this vision, then naturally all of the other tools that we implement in our day-to-day life or the choices that we make, they just follow that. Otherwise, we're trying to force it, reinforce it in the physical reality, but our mind still can't connect to that. And my goal here is to really focus on more establishing that right perception of self that comes from a place of clarity. And then once we start implementing those daily practices and tools, it starts being easier. It starts being more natural. It doesn't feel like something heavy or a burden. It feels in support of the structure we're building. Because, in essence, no structure can exist without a foundation. Let's say we want to build a building, but we don't have the ground, the soil, we can't build anything. We don't have the space for it. And when we speak about a structure is something that belongs to the physical reality. Imagine we're building a body, our image, how we look on the outside. But the foundation, and this is what I focus working on, um, it comes from our ability to find a sense of inner peace within us and to emotionally connect with our essence. It's something much deeper on a subconscious level, something that we know, but a lot of times we forget. We don't definitely don't invest enough time in to connect with. That helps to keep us grounded and focused and have this mental clarity and sense of peace and really know what we need and what we want and what feels right for us and what doesn't. And this would be, again, the stepping stone, the foundation of building anything, regardless of whether that's our self image, regardless if that's a relationship, anything in life, any structure, any building, any organization you want to build. And for those who are interested of more on the construction process and speaking about the structure itself, which pertains more to the physical 3D reality, then for that you would actually need to go more to a financial advisor, banker, and so on. This is not where my focus is. I really focus more on coming back to the roots of building that structure, looking at the foundation. And that foundation, it's really tied to our mind perception of life, of things, but mostly of our own selves. So let me just see if there is something else I wanted to share with you in regards to this topic. Yes, principles, exactly. So when we speak about having discipline, again, uh, physical discipline, healthy diet, lifestyle, workouts, all of that ties into that. That's why even when I speak about yoga, I don't focus as much on the asanas because that's more of the movement part. So movement is one part of building a structure, but there's so many more layers to it. What I focus more on building the perception aspect of it. And for example, let me give you some examples so I don't speak in vague terms, and that's why questions actually are very, very helpful for me. Let's say um, oh, little bug. Hmm. I have a brain freeze a little bit, excuse me. I'm thinking of let's say I'm an artist or a musician. What I need in my day to day structure is, like I said, aside from all the physical needs that we have of being hygienic, um, eating well, taking care of our bodies, move, and so on, I would need time in my day to day to practice, to dedicate that time to solitude and connect and to be inspired and to create music. As part of my spiritual practice, I may need a moment to reflect and just listen to stillness and quietness. So as an artist or a musician, my practice will be much different than, let's say, someone who works in, I don't know, the financial industry, for example. And the time I dedicate to it would also vary. That's why we cannot have one formula that works for all. And once we come to this realization, understanding, okay, me in this role of a musician and the way I see myself, what do I want to give and what do I want to offer to the world, but also what do I need to sustain myself in that. And then you start building your priorities, what is important for you to function. And then almost like that vision of who you are starts um, to be, you start becoming your own inspiration, and then your day-to-day life starts being structured around that vision. And like I said, it almost becomes like a natural flow, a natural process. The issue where a lot of times comes is, of course, when we grow up we are taught a certain model of when we need to wake up, how we need to eat, what we need to do, and so on. And sometimes that model, most of the time, that model does not work for us individually. And we need to, when we grow up, to reparent ourselves and to rebuild that structure, to rebuild that foundation. So if you're over the age of 18, now it becomes your own responsibility and your own role in life to find the answers to these questions, or to question and ask yourself, what do you see yourself as? Who are you? And how can I create my day to day life to support me and support that vision and image of me? And it's not about reaching that final destination, but really when we build the necessary habits and routines that support us, we start actually really enjoying the journey, really enjoying ourselves. And I believe that the final destination, when there is no one final destination anyhow, because there is always next and next and next, uh, but it just manifests on its own. It's not something that you need to worry about or think about the how. It's really more about focusing on the now and the present moment. A lot of times our mind, even our perceptions, can shift from being too nostalgic about the past or being too anxious about the future. And truth and reality, and the only place we can start working from and creating and building anything is from now. So when coming back to the beginning, when I get asked this question, so what is your routine, what is your practice, I have a template, but I don't have a one set in stone practice. And since I work with Asama and astrophilosophy, the way I approach my day to day or my practice is I always look at the energetic transits. I use my own intuition and senses to navigate to what is right and what is not for me. But at the same time, for example, if we're having, like today, Moon in Capricorn, being disciplined, organized, investing some time in working, um, actually, which I'm not going to do, but let's say if we choose to do more of a weightlifting exercise or movement would be ideal, because we're going to need the reps, the sets, the timing, that physical, practical organization of our time. So I would incorporate that as my in my day somehow, or create something. So one of the reasons why I'm doing this video and starting this series, you are creating, you're building something that has a structure. It's going to be Wednesdays, Wisdom Wednesdays, um, and it's going to be around a specific topic for that day. If, for example, we have a transit moon in Taurus, I picked the Earth Moon again. Let's see, something different. Let's say in Gemini. Then, since the energy itself is very busy, then my routine for that day is to probably try something new, do something with my hands, write something. My practice is going to be modified depending on the transit itself, because we are all connected, including we are connected with the universe, with all the planets and everything that's moving, even if we don't think about it. We don't have to even believe in it. I mean, for those who are more consciously aware, and if you really track it, you will notice how we are impacted by the planetary transits. If you don't want to spend and invest time in that, that's totally okay too. And something that I can offer is for you to just try it and to notice. Let's say we have today Moon in Gemini. Try to write something down. Don't close yourself off. Try to speak with someone, learn something new, sign up for a short course, do something creative with your hands. And so you don't have to feel so emotionally dysregulated. So when we speak about emotional regulation, and let's say this morning, I had a triggering moment, and this is also helping me creating that video, building that structure to regulate for myself through my own experience, following the energy of the day and what is asked and needed of me. And actually, right now, I feel extremely calm, besides the fact that I'm in this enchanted forest. So I don't have to spend days, navigating through my emotions and dealing with all this turbulence. We're all human. We can't always be in a completely stoic state. We go through ups and downs. The important thing is, like, can we navigate through that? Can we rely on ourselves to regulate those? And how and what are the tools that are going to help us with that? And speaking of which, I also am launching tomorrow, which I'm very excited about, my program, which is a therapeutic guided meditations program. And all of the main four meditations, which are about 22 minutes long each, I have used in my seminars and workshops. And they really help to work with our subconscious mind and connect to our own essence and form that clarity of self perception and who I am. So I greatly encourage you. It's a very small investment, and the profound insights you're going to discover about yourself are immense. I can't even share with you the joy I personally experience when it's not even teaching them, it's when I play them and work with those therapeutic meditations in my courses, and how in such a short period of time, in just about 30 minutes, people get to places of themselves without the use of any substances, so without the use of traveling somewhere super far out to find the truth. And sometimes all we need is really to ask the right questions. And it's the same concept of when you go to a psychologist or a therapist, nobody can give you really the answers, neither can I. But we need the right mirrors to reflect back to us truth, and also help us discover it on our own by asking the right questions. So actually, if you go to a really good guide or therapist, nobody is going to just tell you what exactly you need to do, but they would ask you questions, and they would um, navigate you in a direction where you can explore that truth for yourself. Because at the end of the day, life is just a journey of constantly learning and growing. And as my teacher likes to say, that nothing that we know ever belongs to us. Even this information that I share with you right now, it doesn't belong to me. It's something that I have learned, I incorporate in my life I believe in, I practice, and I share it with you at the place that I'm at right now. But eventually, that is going to evolve. We're going to grow from it. I'm going to build upon it. Uh, and the only way for that to be possible is when I share it, when I express it first. So I really look forward to be able to express more of what I know, share with you, and be a part of this evolution to creating a life that is more peaceful and joyful. And it's a completely different experience also for me when I'm in that environment and surrounded by people who are in touch with themselves and aware of where they're at in life and where they're going, because then the energy, it's so hypnotizing. It is so powerful, something that you cannot recreate through any dependencies, something that just becomes a natural flow of, yeah, when people come together and share their visions. And to me, that's the highest expression of love. So, yeah, let me see how far are we. 26 minutes. Great. So, I was planning for this live to be about 30 minutes long as my first live. And I really look forward to meeting and connecting with more of you every Wednesday, which is going to be much longer depending on how big the group is. We'll see how it goes. But I definitely want to invest at least an hour, hour and a half, depending on what is necessary for and how many members there are. Address specific questions that you have. You can also write to me and when you submit your questions, you can also write to me your birth information. So this way, when I give you feedback on my perception on something, it's not so general. Because I don't think when we generalize things, it's very helpful. I think everybody's so different and so unique. Um, so it's definitely something that needs to be personalized. Oh, did you see that bike rider? So cool. Anyhow, you see, I get distracted easily, but I always find a way to come back to center. And that's the point. We can all get distracted. That's part of the matrix's job, right? But it's more about learning and trusting ourselves that we can always return back to that foundation, to our own center. And what else did I want to share with you? I feel like I had so many things planned, but I also don't want to deviate too much from this topic. So yes, regarding the therapeutic meditations that I launch tomorrow. Oh, I forgot. Along with the four main guided meditations, which are, like I said, 22 minutes long each, I have included 12 meditations, which you can practice. They're only 5 minutes daily with piece of wisdom and to help you stay focused and find that center in the middle of whatever you're going through in your day. And they're only 5 minutes. Everybody, when you choose to, you can find 5 minutes of your time just to set everything else aside. Take a moment to breathe. And that's why I made them guided. So this way, to help your mind not get lost in all the noise and chaos and distractions, but just for 5 minutes, center yourself. And they're all designed with the daily moon transits, for which I have included as a bonus my free moon transit calendar, which you can just check and track the moon transit of the day, and then go and watch the specific 5 minute meditation video that goes along for that specific moon transit day. Great, I think I repeated myself 20 times, but you get the point. And what else did I want to share? Yes. So I wanted to conclude this video today by doing a part of my practice or my routine, or however you want to call it, spiritual discipline with you in alignment with the full moon in Capricorn or the moon transit. And for those who don't believe in astrology and that stuff, you don't have to. Like I said, you don't have to believe that there is a sun. There is one, right? And it navigates, impacts all of the processes in life. So it's up to you whether you want to believe it or not. The fact it, the fact is that it's there, and it serves its purpose and it functions. And today I wanted to align with some tools that I use to center myself and to get grounded when we speak about Capricorn energy. Again, for those who are not aware, all that means is that today and tomorrow, we really need to ask the question, what are my boundaries and what is the structure that helps me function in my own life to feel good in my own body, to stay sane. And looking back since since January of this year, 2025, what are the changes that I've made? And if was I able to implement them? And if not, that's okay too. Life is not easy and it's full with uncertainty, and it's okay to get off track sometimes. It's like I said, it's most important knowing how to come back. Then what can I do differently now? Having this reflection, having this awareness, being able to face the reality of it, even if it seems like we haven't done such a great job, that's fine. I know that there's parts that I definitely had to face that I've neglected or haven't uh, put much attention to, but probably I should have. That's on me. But then it comes back to, okay, great, that's the reality, so now I can work on it. But if I'm trying to escape it and run away from it and completely ignore it, then nothing is going to change about it and nobody's going to do anything about it. And I start today with creating the Wisdom Wednesdays. Please join me. I would love, love, love to connect with you and make this a more personal space. And let's begin with a short, I would say a guided physical movement meditation practice, which we're going to do together. It's just going to take a few minutes to demonstrate what would be important, let's say on a day like today, for us to focus on to help us stay grounded. And then going forward, possibly we'll see whether we would include those practices in the Wisdom Wednesdays and the lives that we do, or I can possibly, which I think would be a better idea, depending again on what's the need, create separate videos for members only that are tailored to your own needs, that are tailored to your own experience. A lot of the times, what I notice is that even though people come from different walks of life, everybody has their own experience, their own challenges, their own struggles. There is always a meeting point, and things always kind of synchronize. And then once you notice that, it's very easy to work with a tool that helps everyone, because there is a reason why these people show up in this place at that time. Always. Even if we don't see it, there always is a reason. And sometimes we can get so distracted by our own assumptions and perceptions of others. But in reality, nobody really knows what's going on under the surface, how you're exactly experiencing something. Nobody can feel 100% what you feel. This is so subjective to your own personal mindset that the only way to navigate through it is not to reject or run away from your experience, because eventually it's always going to come back to you. You know, there's the saying, whatever you resist, it persists, and it's true. And here we want to, when we invite it to stay, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's unpleasant, uh, then we're able to transform it into an awakening or understanding. That's what an awakening is, understanding of the mind. It's nothing that complicated. It's just sometimes we awaken to things or we understand them um, at different times in our lives. I think very recently I gave somebody the example. They wanted to share something personal with a small child, a 10-year-old child. And I said, do you think really that child is going to be able to understand you? Because it's like when, let's say I teach calculus. If I teach calculus to a 5-year-old and I teach calculus to a 30-year-old, the 30-year-old is more likely to understand a lot of the concepts rather than a 5-year-old. So there is a time and place for everything, and there is a time and place for and a moments of when we have this awakening or understanding or awareness. Until then, we go through our own process, which, as I said, sometimes we don't see it on the outside, but everybody internally has their own experience. And this is why I love what I do and working with people's natal charts, because I really see a person in their full beauty, something that most don't even see about themselves. And that is magical and truly remarkable. And sometimes I'll be like, can't you see that? What I see? But this is why we need mirrors. This is why we need reflections. And that's where the role of relationship comes, to help us see those parts of ourselves and awaken and understand them. Enough with my talking right now. Let's get into the practice. So I think I'm gonna have to walk back a little bit more so you can see me. I hope you can hear me because I'm wearing a microphone. And let's do this. If not, I need to adjust this camera. Okay. Maybe you don't really see me. You see me halfway. You don't see my face. Let's see. Oop. Okay. Maybe I went a little bit too far away, but let me adjust my camera a little bit. Okay, maybe that is better. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to start standing. As I said, Capricorn is all about structure, foundation, discipline. And for that, it's really important to create some awareness to our physical body and physical experience, because that is our first connection to anything that is of a structure, our body, our system. Okay, so step firmly on the ground. Make sure your feet are planted. You can spread your toes. I'm wearing shoes right now. Um, but if you can, spread your toes. Yep. And I invite you here to bend your knees slightly. And today we're going to focus our gaze to our knees. Now close your eyes and let's begin by taking 3 deep breaths in. Inhale, expand the belly, hold for a second, and exhale. contract the belly. Two more times. Inhale, expand the belly, hold, and exhale. Inhale in through your belly, hold, and exhale. Now, as you're standing, make sure your feet are about hip distance, even a little bit wider apart. First, let's create some awareness and feel your body being stable. You don't want to lose balance here, so make sure you're standing in such a way that you feel stable. If I come behind you and poke you right now, you're not just going to fall down right away. From here, I invite you to slightly come forward onto your toes as you inhale and just move your legs and your feet up and down as you bend one knee and extend the other. Nice. Our toes, the position of our feet, that is connected to our beliefs. So it's really important when we start any practice to start with feet first. And now come back to your heels and wiggle your toes up and down. Because once we have this foundation, the stability of our feet, the rest of our body just naturally follows. Just as I said in the beginning, once we have this vision of ourselves, once we have this awareness, this clarity, everything else, every routine, every practice, every discipline, it just follows, it aligns, it synchronizes. A lot of times we don't trust that or we have difficulty connecting to that. So let's take now this moment to breathe into our feet, feel the grounding, feel connected. Imagine roots, your body is in the shape of a tree trunk, and roots are growing, coming from your toes and through your heels down into the earth. You can bounce here a little bit and feel the sensation of being supported and grounded and present. And nothing can shake you or move you from your own sense of self. And every experience that you have and everything you build from here on stands on truth, it stands on support, it stands on connection and deeply rooted foundation. Now, as you breathe, let's bring in some awareness to our knees. The knees in our bone structure, it is connected to the energy of Capricorn. Our knees, imagine how much weight they hold. They hold the weight of our bodies throughout our entire life. So I want you to take a moment and feel your knees. Feel a stream of strength moving and flowing through your knees. And extend the moment to be grateful for them. Feel their support. Okay, take another moment, breathe in here. Now move your breath and awareness up through your body. Feel your hips aligned. Feel your belly soften. Feel your chest open. As you inhale, open up your chest, and as you exhale, bring your shoulders back. Breathe in, feel the air move through your arms and your fingertips. On the next inhale, breathe in, create more space in your back. And as you exhale, open up your throat and slightly point your chin up. Now here, inhale, keep your arms extended to the sides of your body. And imagine yourself standing tall like a tree. No matter what you go through and what season comes, as seasons change, and that is just the natural flow of life. We cannot always predict or anticipate the storms, but they also do not need to shake our foundation and our structure when we are deeply rooted in it. So breathe in here. And exhale, knowing that it doesn't matter what happened in the past, although it will always be a part of you. And it doesn't matter what happens in the future, although it's going to happen anyhow. Your sense of self and meaning and belonging comes from right now, from this moment, feeling rooted, feeling present, standing tall and open. Respecting yourself for who you are in this moment, regardless of anyone or anything else. Now take a moment to breathe in peace and clarity and support. And exhale any past memories or future worries. Inhale, knowing that you are in control and have the power to trust your sense of self right now in this moment. And exhale any need for approval and validation. Inhale clarity and exhale confusion. And one more time. Inhale, feeling supported and grounded in this moment. And exhale everything that may be going on around you, as it doesn't matter. All it matters is you here right now. Okay, take one last breath in. And as you exhale, open your eyes. Okay, coming back to the front. Okay. I'm going to end this live today as part of our practice was about, oh, let me just turn in the camera. Okay. As you recognized, as part of the practice that we just did, um, I asked you to exhale the need for approval and validation, because the greatest killer of joy and of finding peace within is the need for approval and validation. And what I'm going to leave with you today is that I hope and I wish for you to find the structure and build the practice that makes you feel good about yourself, that you find your own acceptance, your own validation, no matter if it works or it doesn't work for somebody else. But if it makes you feel happy, if it brings you joy, then it's right for you. And so respect yourself for that. Because finding peace, it's the journey we all came here to discover. Have a beautiful rest of your day or night. I don't know where exactly you are all located on the globe. And I look forward to seeing you in Wisdom Wednesdays for all my members, and to answer your personal questions there. And all of us together to stay sane when we find the hope and the magic in each moment. And also have fun with it. Because I would say my formula for my practice is to find fun and joy in it. Because if it doesn't bring you fun, and if it doesn't feel joyful, then what's the point of it anyway? Enjoy, guys. Catch you soon. Let me see how I get out of here. Oh man. Okay, bye bye.